Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Business 411. Thank you so much for your excitement and support of this podcast. I'm super excited for today's episode. Our first guest is going to be Mr. Kristofferson Nunes. He is the founder and CEO of UCA Limited. Hey, Kris, what's going on? How are you?
Hey Elizabeth, I'm actually fine enough. I'm not too bad really. How are you doing?
I'm doing well as well. I hope you're staying home, staying safe.
I have nowhere to go, so of course I'm home.
Of course, of course. So I'll just give you the chance to introduce yourself to our listeners.
Sure, so I'm Kristofferson Nunes, CEO and founder of UCA. I wear many hats though, but that's the main one I wear. Marketer, entrepreneur, career advisor. Um, I had a pet fish and I miss her so much. Rest in peace, Yuri. Um, what else? Naturally, I just find myself to be more of a understanding person. I like challenges. I like anything that speaks on my curiosity. Um, and overall, I like to help people build themselves in their career. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. So let's just get right into it. So you said you're the founder and the CEO of UCA, which we know, but I kind of want to take it back to before you started UCA. So you studied, I believe, at the University of the West Indies, right? Uh,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and you majored in, was it economics?
Yeah, I did economics and statistics.
Okay, why did you choose that major?
All right. So, funny story. Initial major was computer science. In my first year at UA, our first semester at UA, I got a GPA less than one, and I was scraping around just to even survive university. My only saving grace was a free elective, which was Principles of Econ. And it was the one course I didn't really put in effort in, and the one course I passed and got a C. I was like, yo, imagine if I put effort into this course, I'd fly. So I just made a switch. I just take a risk and say, oh, this is the risk I'm willing to take because one, I didn't want to fail out of university and doing something I didn't like or didn't excel in the first place. And two, I didn't want to waste my parents' money or any scholarship money I had coming in. So I just made a choice.
Perfect. So you graduated with your degree in econ and you said statistics as well. Uh,
Yeah.
so what was your career path? What were you looking to do once you graduated?
I don't know. I really don't know. I really didn't know, to be honest. Like, I was doing university, I was going to school, I was getting involved in clubs. I was doing various activities, and I was president of the Entrepreneurship Club. I was be a part of the University Marketing Association. I was entering guild politics. I was doing different things, but I didn't have a clear end goal. Like I was just doing it because it just seemed fun, or it seemed like the next step, or I don't wanted to better myself or learn something new in the process. You get me?
Right.
So I didn't have the end goal. I didn't say, oh, I'm gonna be. I didn't have a plan like some people. Like, okay, first year I'm gonna be the VP of this club. Then we're gonna run for this presidents, or I'm gonna be at this internship. Then I'm gonna get a full-time job here. I didn't have a plan. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't.
Right, right, right. Did you ever think about being an entrepreneur at that time, or are you just rolling with the punches?
So the word entrepreneurship, I feel like had now become more of a buzzword. So, for example, when I was at Arden, I always had entrepreneurial as a pursuits. I always sold party tickets. I sold sweetie. I sold gummy bear, gummy worm. I had a whole empire that teachers didn't know about because I used to hire students from lower school to sell on my behalf, and I collected the cash, gave them a cut, and that's it. Like, and even when I went to George's sixth form, I did the same thing. A partner, funny enough, one of the guys who went to George's originally from first form to fifth form and he went to sixth form, he was, I would say, the top entrepreneur. So I kind of collaborate with him. He showed me the ropes in terms of where can I get cheap stuff down at downtown and wholesales. I had a breakfast program. We used to sell fried dumpling and stewed chicken in the morning to students, legit, like in bags. And this was all part of way, I would say, to survive or get a new phone or get a new shoes, but never had a long-term goal.
Right, right, right. So I would say even then you kind of were doing entrepreneurial things, but you maybe didn't have a word for it or a title on it. You're just doing it, as you
I was
said.
just doing a lot of things. Like I was a part of Team Vibe as a writer at one point. I was a brand manager for a milkshake company during my first year at UA. I I helped be a brand ambassador for a brownie company called Damn Good Brownies. I was just doing or involved in so many spaces because I felt like I wanted to do so much. Um, Eventually, I end up tapping into my network, and anywhere I realized my network kind of trusts me whenever I have a new idea, a new venture. Because end of the day, they kind of believe in me, I guess, as a personal brand. From the get go, I was doing so many things. For example, in high school, I was involved in a lot of events, from Marco Polo to summer events. Most times, if anybody wants to be on a guest list for events, they say, "Oh, link Kris. Kris is the plug." Um, yeah, I think it all involved me just being enough.
That's good though, because a lot of people they don't want to take those chances.
Yeah, because it's how we've been wired to grow up. You get me?
Understood, understood. So what did you do between graduating then and starting UCA?
I started UCA in my final semester in my final year,
Oh wow.
right before I graduated. Funny story, I haven't even attended my own graduation.
Was that a personal choice or
First, I don't find the symbolism of going to graduation for someone in a tent and take and collect an empty case which your degree is not in to take pictures and waste your time. No, I was in New York trying to close a deal for UCA. Granted, the deal didn't close, but I took a risk nonetheless. I learned and I networked with some key players in certain spaces, but I didn't go to enter my own graduation. So my final year, final semester, um, I was just doing things. So I had an idea from one of my mentors, say, how can students help brands get on the campus? And one of the most easy way I've realized was brand ambassadors. Like nothing stops a student to sell to his classmates or change or tell him about a brand to his other classmates or roommates or underhall. So I realized brand ambassadors were a thing. So I started a company. I started UCA on that premise. Say, hey, I can get you brand ambassadors at UA or UTech or wherever. And I pitched the company's brand ambassador programs. So one of the first companies I pitched to was Lucozade, and say, hey, Red Bull is dominating the UE space. You have no presence. Boom is also dominating. So this is a great opportunity for you now to get some market share for students. Boom is an energy drink, but it's not good for you. Red Bull is on the expensive side, but Lucozade is more of a on the side where it's affordable. But students didn't know where to get Red Bull, Lucozade on campus. So I created a whole, that's a campus plan, pitched it to Lucozade, and they went for it. Funny enough, they agreed to it when the word UCA didn't even exist anywhere. So they wrote a check for UCA, it was like $500,000, but I couldn't cash it because UCA didn't exist. There was no bank account that had UCA to it. There's no company that had UCA registered to it. So even when I got that a deal, I left there. I went straight to the company's office to register the company, and get a bank account. But it just like, not saying it was easy or find or follow my step with being a risk taker, but I'm just saying I saw a need and I tried to fill it as quickly as possible.
right?
Since then, since then it's all about growth. What I mean by that, I was trying to grow UCA database or presence so much, so aggressively. I even lost sight of how to properly run a company. We had poor accounting, we had poor operations, we had poor transparency, our human resource, but because the mission was growth. Um, we had high turnovers in terms of team members or people leaving the company. But eventually, the story of UCA kind of stick and transpired throughout other schools, and people came on. But this is to say that entrepreneurship is never easy.
Exactly. So is it that you start when you pitched to Lucozade, was that just you or did you already have your team working with you?
Oh, that's just me. That's just me having a sloppy PowerPoint. But me having to rely on, I would say, my mentor at the time, who I just ask for advice and say, hey, what do you think about this? He scraped through it, he trash it up and say, oh, fix this, take off this, add this. And my mentor is now my business partner. So he invested right now in UCA. So he's our investor nonetheless. But this goes to show, if you have an idea, persons will buy into it if you believe in yourself and take the risk.
Right. So you said you were experiencing high turnover. How did you level that out to allow for more persons to stay with the company as time progressed?
Well, no, I still figure it out. But I mean, people have their own different motivation. So some persons may only see UCA with the hype and the glamour, and when they get in, they realize it's real work and they leave. Some people only see the party. Some people only see it as a stepping stone. You get me? So you can't force a vision on persons and say, oh, follow it with a whip behind them like some slave driver. No, you only can share over time consistently, and hopefully out of, let's say you have 10 members, hopefully 2 out of the 10 retain with you, and it creates some form of loyalty and culture. But remember, so we deal with people, everybody has their own desires and passions and motivations. So I would see it as a learning process for myself as an entrepreneur, in terms of how to align a company with certain cultures and beliefs from candidates. Doesn't mean, for example, we've hired candidates who are popular. Popularity right now doesn't tell me anything. But at the time, it meant everything, meaning that they were popular so they could get the word faster. Right now, I don't give a shit if you're popular or not. From I can't do the work, or I can't give me some form of discipline or consistency, you're a waste of my time. But I realize, even speaking now, even myself, I've changed in terms of my focus, in terms of the company.
And what's your focus now in terms of the company?
Discipline over motivation.
Okay.
So there are gonna be days when you're gonna be like, yo, I can't do this. And when days like you're gonna want to give up, there are gonna be days you're gonna feel like all over the moon and happy. But I realize, if you have a certain discipline, no matter what, the good, the bad, the neutral, the small bits add up over time. So the discipline creates a compound interest on your goals. Motivation is all over the place. So motivation can carry you north, it can carry you east, west, south, and all over the place. It tires you out, it burns you out. And sometimes people wait for motivation. And the thing, you can't wait for motivation, because time is unbiased to who you are. So discipline over motivation, that's my mature mantra as a CEO.
So after that deal with Lucozade, did you see things starting to take off then, or was it still like a steady climb?
Well, it depends. So, for example, that's my first ever big client, first ever corporate client like that. Things are all over the place. It was messy. Life is messy, so things are messy. So I didn't have no processes or systems in place. But it's a learning process, in terms of, it was a learning experience really for the next client, the next project, the next engagement we have. Because they really did take a chance on us, and they took a good chance, because at the end of the day, persons on campus end up knowing about Lucozade. Persons end up knowing and buying Lucozade during exam time, during orientation. But for marketing, it's all about consistency, being in their face over time. But for them, they got what they achieved, which is the market share and the sales. But for us, it was a whole messy experience. It's like, remember at the time, and think about it, it's like birthing a child. You don't know what's gonna happen when you birth a child, She's gonna burp, she's gonna stay up all night and bawl and scream. I don't know what's wrong. If you figure it out.
Right, of course. So it was kind of just you just going along trying to figure it out as things are progressing, of course. So when was the moment then you would say where you really started to click for you? Okay, this might actually be something steady, and I could actually really grow this business.
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know that moment. I don't know, because I think it's along the lines of trading time for what you want to do. So what I mean by that is, granted, the whole a lore of entrepreneur where they say now in the modern buzzword press is, you have your own freedom, you can dictate your time and blah blah blah. But like I said, it boils down to discipline, it boils down to structure, and it boils down to accountability for yourself. So if you're, let's say for example, you're working a regular job, you get up every morning 8 o'clock and come back home 5 o'clock, you're sure of your pay at the 25th of every month. You're very sure, 100% sure. With an entrepreneur, you have so many income streams and also so many costs. You have to mitigate your own income stream. You have to mitigate your own taxes. You have to mitigate your own, lifestyle and well-being. So what I mean by that, it was a case where it's more of a lifestyle change. For example, it's easy for me to get up at 5 o'clock, take a walk, jot down ideas in my little book about some new idea or some new prospect or something, share with the team, and we'll create a whole deck of pitch and work a project together versus me getting up every day, 5 o'clock, mull through traffic from Portmore to Kingston or wherever I may work at the time, get 1 hour lunch, and then I feel lethargic. I think it boils down to self-awareness. Because self-awareness for me is all about what I know about myself. For example, I'm the type to, I can't stay in one place. So even with my own company, it doesn't allow me to stay in one place, like physically. So, for example, I don't have a work desk. I don't have a specified desk that is mine at work. I just work anywhere when I reach the office. Sometimes I'll even work in downstairs where the cars are right by on the sidewalk or so, because that's how I work. Or sometimes I stay in a boardroom or in one of those cubicles. You get me? Because I'm flexible. But if you're gonna tell me to stay in a cubicle and just do work, I'm gonna die mentally. I think it boils down to self-awareness.
Right. So walk me through, you mentioned your office. Walk me through the process it took you to open or secure your first space to work out of.
Like I said, it's mentorship. So the first space we had, I shared it with my mentor, and I just offered to pay rent while using his space. Eventually, we got more. UCA got more responsibility. We got more clients. We got more equipment, and his space couldn't accommodate us. So we moved out of that and went to our co-working space, which was way bigger, central, and ideal in fitting. But it more so deals with partnership and leveraging your mentors. Because I was his mentee mentor, you get me? So me being in the office and running a company was also, responsible to, hey, let me put towards rent, let me put towards Wi-Fi, let me put towards water, you get me? Because I'm using the space, I'm there. So I think that responsibility kind of grew into our own space in terms of how we monitor our own area and surroundings.
So at this point, are you still just doing brand ambassadors for companies, or are you expanding what the company is doing?
So right now, UC has pivot so many times, it's crazy. So what I mean by that is, so right now, in the past it was just brand ambassadors, right? But on a business level, that don't make any form of money coming in terms of profitability. So we say, yo, student, and also we've learned that not every student wants to be a brand ambassador. There are students who have other interests, and there are companies that have other needs and wants. So why not match them? So right now we create a hub for students or young professionals to get, I would say, a footing with these companies or a footing with these young entrepreneurs or small businesses that need their assets or need their skills. So now we've created I would say, a freelance marketplace for young professionals. So what this means, let's say a student who study marketing and in her free time she does social media on her own and she wants some form of experience. On the flip side, she don't know a company that may be in St. Elizabeth that wants social media management. She don't know that client at all. But however, that client reach out to us and say, hey, I need somebody. You get me? So we're that bridge that bring everybody together. So, and a lot of times you don't know who knows what. But because we're so, I would say, connected, and of course from the track record from the client side, clients will speak to other clients with their friends who have other businesses, and it kind of creates that compound, I would say, self way of marketing. So word of mouth, I would say, is the best way nonetheless. A lot of times we get most of our clients from other clients.
So referrals.
They get me. Yeah, so we do one work, and of course it's people. So somebody say, say, and I've heard before, a client will say, I got this great intern from UCA. I say, what is UCA? Like, this great company that matching me with that intern based off their skill sets, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, yo, connect me. And we've got clients based on that referral or that word of mouth. And it helps. And because of that word of mouth, they more trust the person who recommended us to them because they trust that person. But to us, I'd say it's the marketplace of connecting students. One, a student's daily life is class, extracurricular activities, and home, or if they have a relationship or not, or social media. So they don't know a corporate client, or they don't know a young professional who want these things because they're not in that space or that environment to know these things. So we have to elevate that type of, I would say, platform to them. So hence the birth of UCA I have now. So yes, we do brand ambassador stuff, but right now COVID, nobody now touch nobody. So we've pivoted more of a digital standpoint. Some persons offering digital tools and digital services. So social media marketing, virtual assistancing, online teaching for persons who are candidates or clients who have children at home. We've done work for data entry. We've had a client send us a PDF or scanned documents of things she wants in an Excel document. And we just have somebody who's right home, right now, bored, don't have nothing to do, can earn some cash by just transforming those into Excel documents. We've had somebody sit in a Zoom call and transcribe the meeting notes and important things and send to everybody. We've had so much different services. It's hard to, quantify us as a brand ambassador company because there's so much more. Right now, the next goal for us is to create an online platform. So it creates an automated process using AI where a student can get matched to opportunity easy.
So they would just create a profile and...
They create a profile. It's like a LinkedIn for students, I'd say.
Okay, cool. So during this time, is the company self-funded, or are you seeking out investors or financial aid from banks or loan companies, or are you just funding the business through the services that you're providing as you're going along?
Well, we've always bootstrapped. When I mean by bootstrapping, if persons who don't know what that means, is we use funds from the revenue sources to invest back in the company. But over time, we've also had investments. We've had grants from competitions we've won. We've got funding from accelerator programs we've entered. So I, as a CEO, try to find opportunities to keep the company afloat and ahead nonetheless. I call it free money. If companies are giving them free money, why not apply and get it?
Right. Okay. So in doing a little bit of my research, I saw something saying UCA Trinidad. Is it that the company has expanded into another country?
Yeah, so currently UCA is officially registered for the Caribbean for all major territories in the Caribbean. So that's include Jamaica, Guyana, Trinidad, Barbados, St. Lucia, any Caribbean country. And I'm of the belief that, and this is me thinking ahead, I'm of the belief that a lot of big companies, and I mean big companies like Netflix, Google, Apple, only view the Caribbean as segments based on their countries. And because the countries themselves are small, they don't try to give it much effort into their marketing or their product. However, together as a Caribbean, we're almost dominant. We're almost at an advantage. We share a lot of history together. For example, a lot of countries like Jamaica and St. Lucia share histories. Same thing with Guyana, same thing in Trinidad. But we have a disjointed citizenship in terms of the region, meaning that we don't know our neighbors. We don't know. If I ask some of my classmates, hey, do you know what's going on in Barbados? No, they're clueless, and vice versa. And we have a very ignorant approach to other Caribbean countries. But I'm of the belief that if the Caribbean is connected, right now, especially in digital age, we have a leverage in terms of the global market. One, I believe it should be easier for citizens of the region to travel between other countries. It shouldn't cost an arm and a leg and a liver to go to Trinidad or Barbados versus from Jamaica to Miami. But also, if you have a connected region, you're gonna have connected innovation. You learn from each other. You learn from their creativity, their expertise, their skills. Um, and if Jamaicans only learn from Jamaicans, you have a very stagnated society. Likewise, if Trinidad only learn from Trinidadians or Bajans learn from Bajans. So if everybody learn from each other, you now have an elevated society where you're innovating based off solutions we could offer. So I believe, and this is the vision for UCA, UCA should connect students from across the region to opportunities nonetheless. You get me? For example, a country as small as Antigua may not service, I can't service all their students or all their children. You get me?
Right.
But with the digital age now, a child or a student from Antigua can stay in their living room and get working opportunities from maybe Guyana, Trinidad, St. Lucia, or Jamaica, or Cuba, or Haiti. You get what I mean? Like, it connects them. And because of that, I say, regional camaraderie, it's easy now for, payment to be facilitated easy. So that's my vision. But on a legal side, we're in all the territories. But on a operation side, we're not as prominent in those territories as we are in Jamaica.
So you don't have a physical location in those other territories, just in Jamaica right now?
Yeah.
Okay, understood.
But we have a few assets or asset partners or students or resources in these countries, just not a full operation as the one in Jamaica.
Right.
But that's the next step. That's the end goal.
Okay, so you said coming up, you have the AI software to just link students better with these corporations, and then obviously expanding more into the other Caribbean territories. So, what would you say throughout this whole thing has been the most challenging part of being the founder and the CEO?
I think it's the people management. What I mean by that, the concept of bad mind is real. The concept of people, in terms of their own diversity and their own self, is also real. So as much as you may have your best interest at heart, other times persons unlucky may not. You have to navigate your own internal conflicts as well with yourself and other people, and not try to be so emotional in your pursuits. So I think one of the most challenging things, I guess, is people management and, of course, self-management. How you manage yourself in the midst of chaos, in the midst of affluence, in the midst of prosperity, and also, like I said, in the midst of disaster, because things can lead you astray. People management in right now, because people bad mind your things and say, oh, they will copy you, they will poach your staff, they will spread rumors, they will steal from you, they will try to hack you, they will all sort of man of this are ingenuity. But is you have to learn how to stand firm in your own account of who you are and what your mission is or what your goal is or your activity. For example, if you're running a race and you're here on the sidelines that you're slow, you're not gonna focus stop on customer if you're gonna focus on the race. Because if you stop on customer, if you lose the race, you get me? So you have to take into consideration your, I'd say, blinders to what you're hearing and seeing from people. For example, I remember growing up, I used to see here was a hermaphrodite. And I used to believe it.
Oh my God.
You see what I mean? I was a kid, but I used to believe it nonetheless because I thought it was true.
Oh no, that's the worst. You really have to just get out of that mindset of caring what people think.
Yeah, because people talk all the time.
So I guess that would be your advice, I guess, to aspiring business owners or people just in general, people coming up.
And this is not to separate the fact that don't listen to your customers, but so, don't be rude to your customers, don't be disrespectful to your customers, don't show any animosity to your customers. But at the end of the day, have empathy and humility to learn from them, but also when to filter out what is true in your own reality and move forward. You get me?
Do you think that's intuition, or is that a skill that you have to learn?
I think it's a skill you have to learn. For example, if everybody, I like to use the example of Henry Ford. Henry Ford said it in a writing or in his memoir. If he listened to people, he would give them a faster horse, because at the time they only know of horses as a mode of transportation and not motor vehicles. You get me? So it takes into account, yes, they want a faster way of moving, but not necessarily a faster horse. People literally just wanted faster horses. But when he came with innovation now, he took the account of, what they said, humility, used his own expertise, his own skill sets, his own domain and knowledge, and gave them the motor vehicle. It elevated society of what we see as every day as cars and traffic jams. You get what I mean? Because if you really listen to what everybody said to 100%, you never innovate, you never learn. For example, right now, as any world leader listen to all of their citizens 100%, they will be so confused and overwhelmed they will fail. And the perfect example I like to use right now is as a Jamaican politics. So it's easy right now for citizens to tweet their leaders, to tweet their MPs, and express disgruntledness about services. However, if, for example, the world leaders or your prime ministers take into account everything these people say and try to do it, they're gonna have conflict. You're gonna have conflict on the same things those people recommend, because most times those persons recommend things they don't even know that's even good for them or bad for them. They just recommend things because they just feel to talk. Doesn't mean they put thought to it. They just feel the thought and express themselves.
Even so, you can't please everyone.
You can't. That's true. You can't. So you have to be mindful of the things you filter in and also the things you create.
That's good advice, and I'm sure that our listeners will appreciate that. So moving forward, we're all going through the COVID-19 crisis right now, and I know you said that you've adjusted by doing things more digitally. What would you say is your vision moving forward in spite of all of this?
Vision, I have so many visions, but in terms of UCA, the vision is to connect opportunities online. There's gonna be a challenge, because as much as we speak about online, that's a utopian first world vision. What I mean by that, a lot of students or kids or children or teenagers here don't have access to the internet, so there's a digital divide. A student in St. Elizabeth may not have the same internet access as a student in Kingston or Mobay. And as much as we have a high penetration rate in Jamaica, or somewhat high, the penetration rate is through your mobile phone, which is simple apps, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook. So as much as the opportunity is there, there's going to be challenges. But my vision really is to connect the Caribbean with opportunities, meaning that I don't think it should be a hassle for you to get some form of freelance work nonetheless. It shouldn't be a case where you have to know links and have these things. It should be a case to be full transparent. And you work on your own merit, on your own regard of your skill set. Boom.
All right. Well, thank you, Kris. It was a pleasure to speak with you about UC and how the company grew and your insights on what's going on now. And I wish for you all the best. I wish your company all the best. And I will look forward to watching the growth and seeing how UCA digitally connects even throughout all of this.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Well, thanks so much for inviting me.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for listening to the first episode of the Business 411. I hope you all enjoyed the conversation I had with Kris. Please be sure to follow UCA at UCA Jamaica on Instagram, and make sure to keep up with Kris on his social media platforms as well. It's at Purple Cow Kris. Stay tuned for more episodes. Subscribe, share with your friends. Thank you, and God bless.